Okay, hold on. Put him on speaker. Let's see. Say something now.
Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you now.
All right. How do I sound now?
You sound clear now.
Okay. All right. So I'll just pick up where I left off, um, and just let me know if everybody can hear me in the audience talking, because I don't want anybody to miss this. Um, so, as I was saying, just going back, looking at things that happened in the past. Um, these tactics were employed the very first time we went to Gulfport, with another individual, and I won't mention that individual right now. If he chooses to speak up about the situation, then that's fine. Um, but this individual called as we were leaving Gulfport, um, and as we were leaving Gulfport, he called me, and there were two other brothers in the car. Brother Hawk Newsom and Brother Nadir were in the vehicle with me, and this brother called me, and we had a pretty good relationship. And he said, "Hey, he was kind of asking me some questions," and I said, "Hey, brother, if you got something to ask me, just ask me. We all men or whatever." And he asked me a question, that was kind of along the lines of, did I have an issue with him, or did I think a certain way of him? And I was like, "No, why would you say that?" And so this brother was like, "Well, somebody had told him that." And so I asked that brother, I said, "Well, who is it?" I said, let's get him on a call. The brother that I was talking to was just like, "Well, I'll do it later." He was doing some stuff with the family, so on and so forth. So he was like, "But I'll get back to you about it." I said, "That's fine." Now, and all this can be verified. Like I said, Brother Hogg and Brother Nadir were in the vehicle with me when it happened. So about 5 minutes later, Carl Soto calls me. And he's like, "Hey, I was just standing with the individual, and I don't think anybody told him anything, but maybe he felt some type of way with you all being down here, so on and so forth." And I was like, "Well, I don't know why he would feel that way, because we've worked together in the past, and he invited me down, so I don't know what the issue would be."
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't think anything of it, right? I just thought, we just met this guy, Carl Soto. I wouldn't think he would have any ill will, or any ill intentions.
Yeah.
Uh, so time goes on. Again, then he conversates, he talks, and he says he wants to join again. He fills out the application. He understands there's a 90-day probation period. We'll see how it goes. Everything is everything. Um, I think the biggest thing is just, again, trusting your gut and how things move. It was just some things that started popping up that just seemed like red flags. Conversations being had, text messages coming.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just trying to get his brother the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to work with him. And if he's being completely honest, I'm not gonna talk about things or slander or name. I'm not gonna do none of that. I'm just gonna simply give people the facts, and they can make their own decision, because I'm not in the business to slander people. I'm just going to give straight facts. But when he first signed his membership, and he and I had a couple conversations, and I asked him, I said, "Brother, why would you want to be a part of this when you already have your own organization? You're already out there. You're in these environments." And he kept referencing back, saying that he felt, this is somewhere where he belonged. He's been studying us for a long time. And this is part, he feels that he wants to be a part of this. I gave him our philosophy as far as Black Lives Matter. I say, we really just don't subscribe to those type of philosophies as far as like organizational wise. I mean, we all understand the term,
right.
Black Lives Matter, but as far as philosophies, I said, it just really doesn't line up, with them.
Yeah.
And so he would respond to say he wanted to distance himself from Black Lives Matter. This is where he wants to be. And again, you got the receipts to show that this guy, is saying this is what he wanted to do.
Right.
So we had about three of those conversations. And then recently, early February, right?
Uh-huh.
So really in the last 30 days is, when things, I'm not going to say change, but, he started asking me questions about becoming the Florida state commander.
Mm.
And, I would tell him, I was like, look, brother, I said, that's not something that's given out like candy or Skittles. I have to, see in leaders, understand their drive and know that I can count on them. I don't take, positions within our organization. I don't take it lightly because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your members, and that's why everybody's put in position, because I believe in every single leader in our organization, and I believe in every single member in our organization. So, he started asking me questions about being a Florida state commander. So I'm just telling him, to pump his brakes. Let's just, let's make it through the probationary period first, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So again, we're back in Gulfport, a couple conversations here or there. We go to Taylorsville, so on and so forth. So then we decide to go to the ranch, to the Mallory's Ranch in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you all are aware, and I don't want to, obviously for OPSEC situations, I don't want to go into details about the conversations we all have. But, I asked him, and a lot of you all were privy, because of his health condition, right? Like, he had a stroke. He was walking with a cane. I mean, even when we were in Mississippi, he had this cane, whatever. And I asked him, I said, look, I know you want to go to Colorado, but brother, I don't think you're in the condition to go. He kept pushing back, fighting me. I want to go. I said, all right. I said, well, okay. Well, if you're sure, then I'm not going to tell you no, but I'm advising against it. But if you're sure you can come and do what needs to be done, then come on. So then, that's when we started planning out the logistics about, everybody getting there, whatever. So when we get to Colorado, they show up. It was, a vehicle of people. They show up. I think the first night that we had everybody in their entirety there, we were putting up a tent, and we were putting that tent up for the Mallorys for, if anybody else wanted to come and help out, they would have, places to stay or whatever on the property.
Uh-huh.
Well, he went into a different living quarters while we were out working on this tent. And so he waits until the tent's up, and then he walks into the tent after we already put it up, put the wood burners in and everything. And I asked him, I said, Soto, I said, where you been? He was like, oh, I was having trouble putting my boots on. And I said, well, for 2 hours? And he really didn't say anything, and he left. So, the next morning, he gets up and makes the run into the city, with the ladies in the morning. Like, he was going into, they were going to Walmart doing errands or whatever in the morning.
Yeah.
So the guys would stay back and do work on the ranch. But in the mornings, when the ladies would leave, he would leave with them. And then he would come back and sit around and just, like, not do nothing. And so I want to say the following day after that, instead of asking me, we're face to face, instead of asking me, he sends me a text message and says, well, I don't want you, feeling sorry for me or having any pity on me. I'm at 90% strength. I just used this cane for balance. But he was steady walking around with it.
Yeah.
I didn't really say anything, but I'm just like, man, how do I, deal with this? Because he came up here knowing that we were supposed to do some work for these people,
right,
and help them out and protect them,
right.
But he's just sitting around and he's having this cane. He's not doing anything. Now, let me tell you this without going into detail. At one of the nights, there was an incident that happened that put everybody on alert. Now, he had to walk around with that cane the whole time. But the second it was time to gear up, the cane was gone and he was walking around with a rifle and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you've been walking around here limping for two and a half days with a cane, but then it's possibly some action could happen. Now you got a rifle in your hand and you running around. So You know, I'm looking at that and I'm like, what's going on here? And so then I guess, and I can't see, obviously I'm calling in, but I'm guessing Commander Patrick is still on the line. So, you know, he goes to Commander Patrick Lumumba and he's like, hey, I'm feeling, basically he's telling Commander Patrick that he's feeling some type of way, that I don't view him the same as, Commander Patrick or, Brother Hawk, or, this is what he's telling Commander Lumumba, is that he feels some type of way because I don't view him like these other leaders. But you've only been a member for 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so Commander Patrick, and if he's on the call, I mean, he can validate what I'm saying at any time. But, so they pulled me to the side. I want to say it was one of the last days we were there at the ranch. And, Commander Patrick's telling him, like, tell him what you got to say. And so this is what he's telling me, that, you respect Commander Patrick, you respect, Hawk, but you don't respect me. I said, brother, I don't know you. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get to you. I don't know you. You know what I mean? And so, as we're talking, he's like, here we go again. He's like, I really want to be, your Florida commander. This is what he's saying. And so now when you go back and look on these things, is he making these statements because he wants to be privy to information that he's locked out to?
Of course.
What other reason are you pushing so hard? Are you trying to, to get me to validate you? And so he's made statements that made me wonder. Like, one statement in particular was, I need you to validate me because it'll be easier for me to navigate the movement if you do. And I'm just, finding statements like that strange. But as we have this conversation in Colorado, and he's talking about, I don't respect, I don't show him the same level of respect, or it's clear that I don't have the same level of respect for him as he has for me.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get him to understand that, that comes with time, work.
Right.
People have to be able to work for what they're trying to accomplish. And at the end of the day, we shouldn't be working for a title. We shouldn't be working because we want to be notarized. We should be working because we wholeheartedly believe in what we're doing for our people.
That's right.
So we have this conversation. And so, eventually we ended up, leaving the ranch. Everybody departs and goes back on their ways. But, I'm hearing some rumbling about, him still not being happy, so on and so forth. So on the ride back, which again, what I'm getting ready to tell you can be verified.
That's right. I got the receipts to everything Brother Nick is talking about, y'all. We're going to get to that, but he's laying the background. If you're just tuning in, he's laying the background of everything that's happening, and then we're going to play all the receipts to verify every single thing. I promise you. Go ahead.
So on the way back, we were trying to work some more security measures out for the Mallorys without, again, I don't want to say everything, but we were working out some security measures. He called me on the way back. They were headed back to Mississippi. We were headed back to Texas. He calls me in the car and he says, hey, Commander, I know, we're going to need some assistance with bodies on the ranch. I talked to my cousin. My cousin has a security company, and he's willing to send people to the ranch to help rotate people out. I said, well, I don't know, what the budget for the Mallorys will be for something like that. He told me right there on the call that it'll be free of charge. Don't worry about it. This is what he's telling me.
Yeah.
He said, I wouldn't call you if it wasn't free. Cause I'm telling him, we ain't, Black people, we don't have no money like that, So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna put you in touch with my cousin, but it's going to be free. Everything's going to be taken care of. I said, all right. So about 2 days later, I ended up getting in touch with this guy who has a security company. So we start talking. He's like, well, let me make sure I cover everything. What Soto told me was the only thing we may have to cover is those guys' travel and paying for their gear to be shipped there, which means, anybody who knows in the 2A community, you can fly with your weapons.
Yeah.
So you can check them in. If ammo was an issue, there's a Bass Pro Shop in Colorado Springs. We could acquire bulk ammo and that way have it, with them at the Mallory. So I just want to make sure I put that out there, that I'm saying everything correctly.
Okay.
He said their service was going to be free. We may just have to have paid for the transportation and the gear to get there. So, so now I finally talked to the guy that he's saying, is going to do it for free. So he and I are having a conversation. We're talking about that, getting, they want to send their gear ahead of time, so on and so forth. I'm like, yeah, we can work that out. So then he tells me, well, let me do the math. And I'm like, because we're talking about numbers, bodies. And then he tells me, well, it's going to be $600 per day per person. And I said, well, that's not what Soto told me. Soto said the service was going to be free. He was like, well, I'm going to have to talk to him about that, whatever. And then the next day, Soto calls me. It might have been the same day or the next day. Soto calls me. It was like, hey, I don't know what happened. I don't know. He told me it was going to be free. But then he told you something else. And so now listen to what I'm getting ready to tell you.
Okay.
So then he says, well, he's working with somebody else now. I think that other person was in his ear. And so he was trying to see if he could profit off of it. But I'm going to talk to him and we're going to take care of it. Now, remember, when we first went to Gulfport, the conversation that I had with the brother when we was leaving Gulfport, going to New Orleans with Hawk and the deer in the car. Yeah. The stories were changing. So now he's sitting here and he's telling me one thing. I talked to this guy, he tells me something else, and then he backtracks and was like, well, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to fix it. So I didn't have too much interaction with him since then. But now let me give you the backdrop. The last week of February, I believe I sent him a message and I said, hey, what's up with your cousin that's supposed to do the services, help us out with the Mallories in Colorado? Yeah. He's like, oh, he didn't get back to you? Because supposedly he was supposed to get back to me. He was like, well, I thought everything was taken care of. I said, I ain't heard from this guy in 2 weeks. I ain't heard from you about it in 2 weeks. I said, so, what are we doing here? So he's talking about, how he's going to fix it, but he's got a plan B or a plan C, And so now this goes back to, you want to jockey for a position to be a commander of one of the chapters, but I can't count on you to get this job done. This is what you're positioned to do, but you're not doing it. So then when I bring it up, a couple days later, one of his associates had texted me, which you had a text message, but we'll get into that later. Right. But he was saying that he was going to do it. And so he was trying to say that was the plan B. So then let's fast forward to February 28th and March 1st, because this is where everything really took place. So on February 28th, he sends me a text message after, we all had a conversation. And then it goes back. I don't know if you had that to be able to show on the screen. I can't see. I sent it to you recently to have, but there's a text message. Yeah, it's in a text message. And I don't know if you have it, but I got it.
Which one is it? Which one you talking about?
The one where he said, I received the unofficial word that I passed the bar. And then he keeps talking about saying,
it's up right now.
So you see, he said he received the unofficial word that he passed the bar. The results are scheduled to become public shortly. I checked that. The results come out next month. Let me tell you about the bar. The only thing that will be public about the bar is if someone passed. If someone failed, or if they didn't take it at all, those results won't populate. So I just wanted you all to be aware of that. He said, when I officially get sworn in, I plan to shake things up for me. Do you have a Florida State commander yet? See, I plan to shake things up for me. Do you have a Florida State commander yet? So, as he's saying this, I'm hoping you allow me to, to be that or whatever. A few people want to join, so on and so forth. I would like to form an official Florida chapter. I hope you find it fit to do so. As you know, I am a firearms instructor and I want to do more. Now, 2 weeks ago, we just had a conversation and I told him to relax. So I called him when he sent me this text message. Yeah. And I said, hey, Brother Soto, I said, didn't we just have this conversation in Colorado? Like, that position has to be earned. It can't be just, it's not. This ain't Halloween. You're not gonna just walk up to the door and I'm gonna put candy in your bucket. Like it just doesn't work like that. And so as you can see from this message, and he's steady jockeying. And as I'm having this conversation with him, he was like, "I never asked you that before." Again, Commander Lumumba, he can verify it as well. He was standing right there when he asked me about that. And so he was saying he didn't ask me. And as we continued to have our conversation, then he said, "Oh yeah, I do remember us having that conversation." So you see, again,
yeah,
he's trying to insert himself into a leadership role. I don't know if it's for him to, for him to get a clear path to do whatever it is he wants to do. I don't know, but it's not sitting well with me, him doing this.
Right.
And so then that was February 28th. But let me tell you, before I go to March 1st, so we had a call, he and I had a conversation based on this text message. So we're talking about this. And as we're having this conversation, we're talking and I'm saying, hey, we already talked about this. You can't be pushing this hard. You just have to follow within the spectrum, the guidelines and the rules set by the organization, and things will work out for you. I'm trying to tell him stuff like that, so we're kind of going back and forth. At the point, I'm still trying to, show some sense of encouragement, but it's to the point where I'm really leery about this.
Yeah.
And let me tell you where the concern came from. And it is back in Colorado, as we were, like I said, with myself, Commander Lumumba, and Soto were having a conversation, and Soto would mention that he was in the Army. So I asked Soto, what was your rank in the Army? In Colorado, he told me he was an E4. For you all who don't know, well, first off, shout out to all the veterans that's listening. We got some on the call right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he said he was an E4. Well, as we were all traveling away from the Mallory's ranch, I don't know if you had that text. But out of the blue.
Give me 1 second. I got you.
Okay. Let me know when it's up.
Okay. I got you. Let me see. Where is this one at? 1 second. So I got it. Okay. Got you.
Okay.
It's up.
So I can't see it, but
you want me to read it?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Okay. It says, this is off, but I was honorably discharged from the Army as an E9, not E4. Not sure why I said that. Then you ask, well, how many years did you do? He says, 12 years, received an honorable discharge. When I enlisted, I was automatic enlisted as an E2 because of things I did in high school prior to joining that allowed me to earn extra credit.
Okay.
Wow.
So anybody that's listening, anybody that's watching, you don't forget what your rank was when you separated from the military. You don't say you're an E4. E4 and an E9, there's a huge difference between an E4 and an E9. And nobody who got out separated, they're going to forget what their rank was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So it's critical that people are seeing this, that he said he was an E4, then he said he was an E9. And it's going to be critical that people understand why what you're seeing right now is important, because it's going to go on as we continue to show. You're going to see why seeing this is important. So that was a conversation that took place. And so, I'm starting to get these red flags and this funny feeling about Carl Soto. So we had this conversation on February 28th. He and I were talking the night of the 28th after we all talked. And, he's talking to me about, being a commander, so on and so forth. And we just kind of dive into a conversation. And as we're talking, he discloses two things to me that really bother me. So the first thing he disclosed to me, and we'll talk about it later. I know you have a lot of the information about it, but one of the things he disclosed to me was that he had a criminal background that involved child abuse.
Hold on,
and
Nick.
So I'm like,
hold on, Nick. Before you go any further, the informant is in here, and he is saying, hold on, let me go down because it's showing different. This bozo is saying, why don't you let me in? This is an attempt to destroy my character. This is a cowardly move. Let him come on to speak for his side. Nick, you're an absolute liar. Why don't you let me get on this podcast so I can show you my receipts of how you use me? And now you're mad because, hey, look here, Soto, you had an opportunity to provide all the evidence or any receipts that you had to show and prove you are who you say you are, brother. Don't come on here trying to show receipts now. So now this not Sunday. You're not gonna have your church sermon. You're gonna sit here. You're gonna listen, and who used to be your commander is gonna keep speaking. Go ahead, brother Nick.
I appreciate it, and again, I want to urge you all, man. We're not gonna stoop to that level, or whatever they choose to do. We're just gonna clearly state the facts.
Gotcha.
Show people the facts. And then after that, man, I'm moving on. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put no more energy into this situation. But again, I mean, people are starting to see what's going on, and we'll continue to connect the dots so people can see what's happening. So again, as we're having this conversation, I'm hearing, him saying these things about this criminal background that involved abuse of a child. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to look into this. And then before we get off the call, he said something else that was pretty awkward. He said his sister was an FBI agent. And I found that awkward as well for him to just randomly say that.
Yeah.
But again, with the receipts, I'll tie it all together. So it was just an awkward conversation. Again, I was trying to encourage him, and we were having, back and forth. And so that was the end of it. Now, as you all know, the commanders, I made you all aware of my concerns because, of course, I'm going to bring it to the leadership and say, hey, this is the conversation that was had.
Yes, you did.
And so then we went based on what he was saying and did our own research, and that's when, a lot of alarming things started popping up, not just with the military service, but with what happened, with the criminal background with the child, saying one thing, but, something else took place. And then just some other strange, peculiar things like the video you will show, of him speaking about, we'll get to it. So,
yeah.
So March 1st rolls around, and I send him a text message. This would be the message after the whole thing about him being the commander. If you can see it, it says, I need you on a Zoom call at 8:00 p.m. Eastern time.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get it.
All right.
Yes, it says yes at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Right. And he says, got it. Everything okay? Is this about Colorado? And I say, I need to talk some things over with you so we can move forward. Let me send you the link in a few minutes. And then I said, it's just about our conversation last night, just to clear a few things up. Now his statement, does this sound like someone who's disgruntled, someone who hates being in this organization? He says, no problem. Just so you know, I understood everything you said last night, and I'm committed to EGPGC. We both said what needed to be said last night, so hopefully everything's okay. Now, does that sound like this is March 1st? Here's the receipts to check it, because this is the same day, that night when he went, and we'll talk about that as well. But does that sound like someone to you who's upset with where they're at?
No.
Not at all.
Okay. So then when we send them the link, the next message is, okay, that's 9 p.m. my time. But remember, I said 8 p.m. Eastern, which is his time. He said, okay, that's 9 p.m. my time. I'll make sure I get on. I'm at my church till 8:45-ish. Maybe a minute or two late, but I'll do my best to get on 9. Again, then he says, is everything good? I understood everything we discussed last night, and we said everything that needs to be said. Is everything good? I remember you mentioned you had to do a Zoom with a Dallas member yesterday. Is this under the same circumstances? Again, if you're reading this, does this sound like a person who hates where they're at? Does this sound like a person who's disgruntled? Does this sound like a person who is claiming what he's claiming now? Does that sound like that type of person?
No,
I'm just asking.
It sounds like somebody who's scared of losing something that they losing their position, losing, their membership. This is what it sounds like.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yes.
So now I said, so he's talking about 9. So I said, no, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 25 minutes. He said, got it. And, I tell him on now. Right. So at that point, this is where we all get on the Zoom call with him to try to get clarity. So again, I can't see it, but I can hear it. So go ahead. And if you
want to try to come in while we play it, because it's about 2 minutes and 57 minutes, 2 minutes and 57 seconds long. You want to try to come?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good right here. It's fine.
Okay.
But I'm listening.
Okay. 1 second.
All right. Hey, I wanna discuss some things with you based on our conversation last night. So first off, Jarvis sent me a text message today. Now
Jarvis, Washington?
Black Lives Matter in Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me a message here a little while ago.
No, I did. I did ask him about going to Colorado just in case my cousin can't, because that was going to be one of the plan Bs that I was talking to you about. But okay.
So I got this message from Jarvis, and in this message, he mentioned things about me disrespecting him, and some other things in the message. Now, I don't know Jarvis, and I'm too busy to worry about other people. So if I don't know him and I don't speak on him, why would he text me about something about him being disrespected and all kinds of other stuff?
Well, the only thing I can think of is that situation about the mayor's office. I know that he was furious because I had to tell him to hold off when like I told you, I was out of town when the call came in for the scheduling for the mayor's office. And I guess he also told me that he wanted to schedule the meeting around the time that he would also be available, being that he's also been working with the family. So he did not know that on that 23rd was the actual scheduled day of the bar exam either. And I guess there was a meeting that was supposed to take place with him, myself, and I guess Mayor Hughes on that Wednesday. And when I did learn the circumstances, and then you and I had spoken, I had told him to hold off because for a few things. One is because of the bar exam, but two, I had let him know that I was working. I was working with you, and it was just certain things that you were basically. It was certain things that you were doing for the family. So I know that he, because I've been with him for years, he took it offense. He took it offense because he felt that I was choosing the organization over BLM Pokes. And also he, I guess he felt like, I guess because certain things that I did discuss with him, I confided him about, he felt like that I was being controlled by you. And I guess he was, I'd rather let him speak for himself.
Gotcha.
I did not know that you were going to do that, but
I got it. I got it.
All right, I'm here.
So that was the first clip.
Yes, sir. So pay attention to what went on in that first clip. If you look, he's trying to play both sides. like that was something that I noticed right away. He kept talking about, you know, EGP versus BLM poke, you know, and then you hear him say, oh, well, some of the things I discussed with Jarvis, he feels that, you know, I was picking the organization over BLM. You know, look, again, I don't know Jarvis. I don't have no issue with Jarvis. We actually had a conversation that same day on the second Zoom call. And when we got off the call, it was no hard feelings because I don't know that man, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know him. Now, what I will say about that particular statement, other than you can kind of see him stirring the pot and trying to create mess.
Yep.
What I will say is, you know, if you're saying that you're going to align yourself with us, you're going to be with us, and you want to be a commander in this organization. And again, everybody operates within the rules and the structure of this organization. And if we already have something set up, and you're saying you're falling under this organization, then that's how we're going to move. But what he's saying is he's going back telling Jarvis, as if I'm telling Jarvis he can't do his own thing. Jarvis has his own organization. I'm not telling that man what to do. He can do whatever he wants to do. Right. That's not my concern. So my thing is, if you're going to go be and rock with Jarvis, then go rock with Jarvis. And that's cool. I don't have no issue with that because, again, like I said, I had 3 conversations with this man about why would you even want to be here when you were already doing your own thing, establishing yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can see there. So this is another instance that shows him stirring the pot, causing confusion, an agent of chaos. Because me and this man Jarvis don't know each other, but there should have never been any tension between me and Jarvis. Yeah. Which, I mean, there never was, on my end at least, because I don't know that man. But if you heard clearly in that clip, he said, oh, some of the things that I discussed with Jarvis. Well, what are those things that you discussed with him? What are you taking from our organization going to discuss with other people?
That's right.
And so then again, red flags. You start asking yourself, why is this guy pushing to be on the leadership team so bad, to be privy to what type of conversations, to go do just what he just admitted that he did? You see?
Yep.
And so that's that. So, I mean, you know, if you want to go on to the next part.
The next clip is going to be when you question him about his military background.
Got you.
All right. So here we go. Next clip.
Hard to watch this one.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Soto, you got a DD-214?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And your DD-214 says E9 on it, correct?
Say it again.
Your DD-214 says E9 on it, correct?
No, sir, it does not.
What does it say?
E7.
Have you heard of stolen valor before?
Say it again.
Have you heard of stolen valor? Do you know what that is?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, stolen valor is when you take credit for accomplishments in the military.
Are you doubting my military service?
So let me explain, because I have the receipts to prove it. When we were in Colorado, you told me you were an E4. When we left Colorado, you sent me a message that said, I don't know why I did this. I wasn't an E4. I was an E9 when I got out, 12 years in service. Now you're telling me you're an E7.
Let me go back to my messages that I sent you, because I haven't texted you very, very much. So
it was on a different number. You told me in Colorado that you were E4.
Hey, love, can you just get my DD-14, my military paperwork for me, please? I think I'm being questioned about my service.
Let me read it to you. It says,
sure.
This was February 13th. This is off.
February 13th, okay.
But I was honorably discharged from the Army as an E9, not E4. Not sure why I said that. My reply was, how many years did you do? 12 years.
12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. 12
received an honorable discharge. When I enlisted, I was automatically enlisted as an E2 because of things I did in high school prior to joining that allowed me to earn extra credit.
Okay. I voice text a lot. I voice text a lot. If you notice, I have a lot of I have a lot of misprints in my messages. Sometimes when I'm on the go, I voice text. I don't know if the phone picked up. I don't know, but all I can do is just show you my DD-214. I mean, my page, also my Facebook page, says it all about my past and former life. So I mean, I can't. All I can say is, okay. So Jarvis is texting me. I guess he is upset. He says I guess he got the whole BLM team on the line and they want to talk to you. All I can think of is I voice text a lot. If you notice, even in a lot of my text messages, you'll probably notice typos here, typos there. I like to voice text when I'm on the go. I do apologize, but again, you know, my page speaks for itself. And anybody that knows me.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right, y'all stopped it. So I'm gonna tell you something first and foremost that popped out to me about that clip. If you notice, why all of a sudden was Jarvis texting him?
There you
see
go.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
Why was Jarvis texting him? That's what we're gonna really get into a lot of the other stuff. But you notice, as we're questioning him, he automatically defers back to Jarvis. Jarvis is texting me. He's got the whole BLM team. They're really upset. What do that have to do with this conversation? How did they even know this conversation was taking place?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So so there's an issue. So let's go through this. You know, obviously I'm not watching it. I can just hear it. But you know, he went from an E4. That's why I said pay attention to what you all saw earlier.
That's right.
He went from an E4 to an E9 to an E7. Nobody who's been in the military is going to do that. All right? I asked him, does he know what stolen valor is? People, you know, who served in the military, they know what stolen valor is. If you notice, he had to keep asking. He said he didn't know what stuff was. If you were in, all the veterans that are in, you know, listening or watching, they know what stolen valor is. But see, you know, and then he told his wife to go get his DD-214. Hey, you got that page blocked out? What I told you to block out, the social?
Yes. You want me to put it up?
Okay, put a screen. I can put it up.
All right, here we go.
Let me know when it's up.
And it's up as we speak.
Okay. So if anybody's watching who used to be a Army recruiter, you understand what a red report is. So let me break it down for everybody who's listening. A red report is used by recruiters who, if somebody comes into their office or they run into somebody who used to be who were prior service members and they want to join back again, they run a red report. What do you need with that red report? You need that person's date of birth, their social, and the first three letters of their last name. That information will populate that report on that individual. If you're looking at it right now, at the top, it should say ASVAB and loss. Is that what it says?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Okay, ASVAB. It stands for Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. That's the entrance exam. That's the test you take, the proficiency test when you join the military to show what jobs you are qualified for. All right? And then next to it, it says loss, right?
Yes.
Meaning the date that you separate from the military. Now we're looking on there. You should see, it should say SOT, right?
Yes, sir, it does.
For last name. And then it should have his birthday, March 17th, 1987, right?
Yes, sir.
And see, I'm not going to be a complete butt. That you got it blacked out over his social security number, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just so you know, because I know he's listening and he's watching, just so you know, that last four of your social is the year that slaves first started landing in the United States. The year that we use to say when slaves first started landing in the United States, that's the last four of your social. Just so you know that I know that this ain't a game. So that's what the last four is. Go ahead and show what the next screen says.
Oh, they're both up. I put them both together. It says there are
Okay.
no records in this system that match the information you provided.
Hello.
Well, there it is. So
Bam.
there it is. So I really hate that it came to this when all you have to do is be truthful up front. See, I was an Army recruiter. I still know Army recruiters. All it took was to get the information and hand it off to them to run a red report. They ran the red report. Nothing came back. No service record came back to him. So even today, he's still talking about integrity, sending me these random text messages I don't even entertain. My man, you didn't serve. We ran a red report. Nothing came back.
That's right. And I went to
Nothing came
ancestry.com
back.
and I ain't find nothing on you.
So that's what I'm saying. He's saying the stuff. We got the report. We have the documents. The report was ran. That birthday, his social, his first three, his last name. No military service record was found. And if you separated in 2018, like you said, then it would be there. But it's not. So now you have to start questioning. He's doing all this hoopla. Him and his wife are going trying to defame my name as well as the members of this organization, as well as this organization, and creating chaos, an agent of chaos, when he's not even being truthful.
That's right. That's
He's
right.
not even being truthful.
That's right. You want
So for everybody who's watching this, everybody who's listening, everybody who's siding with him, for whatever reason, let me say something real quick before we move on. They keep sending these messages talking about, I know who you told, and you can show them later, but they're talking as if I have went outside of our organization to discuss internal matters. Today is the first day I've spoken out about the situation. So I know that you're lying. Just like you lied, and go for it.
Yep.
I know that you lied. Anybody who believe him, and that's what I want to say. There were 3 people who reached out to me directly about the stuff he was saying. I want to take my hat off and salute them for saying, hey, let me call Nick, because this don't even sound right. Let me call him and see what's going on. So to those 3 people, and again, I'm not going to drag people into this, but for those 3 people, you know who you are, who reached out to me, salute to you. You know what I mean? For calling me and having the intestinal fortitude to call me and say, hey, brother Nick, this is what this guy's saying. I just want to hear your side of the story. It don't mean that we have to agree all the time or whatever the case may be, or even talk all the time. But at least when this man was slandering my name and our organization, at least they had the intestinal fortitude to reach out and say, hey, I want to hear your side of the story. So salute to those who did reach out.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You want me to play the second part of the military background?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine.
Gotcha. Here we go.
Okay. So I'm being as
I mean, if there's something, it's evident. Like I said, if there's something you'd like to say, I mean, again, when it comes to my military, like I said, I don't know. All I can do is show you my DD-214 and everything else that supports, what I did do in the service. But
what was your years of service?
I did 12 years. I went in. Say it again.
Hey, 2004 to 2014 is when I served. See, I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to pause. I know my rank was E6 when I got out.
I'm just trying to understand. I mean, I'm class of 04. I went into the military roughly a year and a half after graduation. Stayed in until I'm 35 now. I got out not 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, I did it specifically 12 years, 2006 to 2018. I was sworn in at the MEPS in Miami. I mean, I don't know what else.
So
would you like me to get some of my friends
you hold
on
your
the line?
DD-214 in your hand right now?
No, I have my baby. My wife went to go and get it. I keep it. I keep all of that marriage certificate and everything else about me in a folder.
So
I can gladly
you-
produce
so-
that and
so-
get other people on the line too.
So when you went to the MEPS, you went to basic training, right?
Yeah. The way it works in Florida is you have to get your physical. First, you got to get your physical, blah, blah, blah. You go to the MEPS, you take your test, you get sworn in, blah, blah, blah. Once you get your ship out date orders, they sent you to a hotel, stay there for a night, and you were shipped out early the next morning, did your little basic training, went on. And I mean, do I need to describe everything else to do a T, or do I need to get some people on the line? Or
Brother, here's the problem. I can run down everything about my military service like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would never misspeak what my rank was. And so you're saying this as if you can't see where the red flags were at.
Mm-hmm.
You told me you were E4. You text me you were E9. Now you're saying you're E7.
Damn.
well, like I said, there's a few things that can be produced to solve this. One is called a DD-214, and one is if you go on my Facebook page, it's all there too. I can get people on the line and just let them talk for me. I don't know why. Okay.
Boy.
All right. The next clip is going to be Brother Nick, when you get to the criminal, the child abuse charges, from where he pled guilty to one. I don't know if you wanted to shed more light on after this clip before we get to the next one or not.
Yeah, real quick. It's not hard. So as you see, he said, well, you can just do this or you can just do that to find out about my military career. It's on my Facebook page. When we went to his Facebook page, there was nothing on there about the military. He had a high school on there, a JUCO or whatever that he went to. He said that he went to, I think he worked at like Walmart. He was like a used car salesman and some other things. We scrolled his entire page. There was no picture of him, as far as serving in the Army, which is what he said he did. There's no picture of that on there. I think there was, who knows, there was one picture that might have been somebody in an ROTC uniform a long time ago.
That was his
But there was
brother.
no picture of him. Okay.
That's his
There was no
brother.
picture of him in dress blues. There was no picture of him in ACUs or, none of this stuff. And that's not to say that a person some people don't put in their military stuff on their Facebook page. But the fact that he said go to his Facebook page and it was all on there when absolutely nothing was on there, I think is an issue.
Yeah.
I think another issue was, he couldn't figure out, what month and year that he joined the Army, nor could he tell you what month and year, his separation date, nor his enlistment date. And he actually got the process at the MEPS wrong. You don't take your physical first. You go and take the ASVAB.
That's right. That's right.
It doesn't matter if you go to the MEPS and take it or if you take it at a satellite office. You're going to take the ASVAB first. So you're either going to go to a satellite office where they give the test, and you're going to do it there, or you're going to go to the MEPS, and then you're going to take the test. Because let me tell you, most times, the MEPS ain't even going to waste their time, money, or resources to give someone a physical who can't even pass the test.
That's
So
right.
you're going to test first,
Yep.
and then you're going to go take the physical.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? But he said he went and took his physical first, then he went and took the ASVAB, and then he was trying to say, I went and did my little basic training. So he said he was an MP, a military police officer, right? So he didn't say, people will say, so if he was an MP, he should have went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. He didn't say, I shipped out and then I went to Fort Leonard Wood, and then I went on to such and such to do, my first duty station. He didn't do none of that. See, I can run it all down to you, including deployments, Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan. I can run it all down to you.
Yeah.
Where I did basic training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, home of the field artillery. Like I can run this stuff down to you. you know.
And on top of that, Nick, you got pictures. You have pictures, you know.
Well,
I mean, they don't get no more clear than that, because everybody who served has either has pictures that other people took with them, with their squad, their unit. You know, it's not hard to find, you know. And when you get to the text messages, that's what stuck out to me when he told you, you know, he was longing to be a part of something. He's never felt a part of something his whole life.
Yeah.
But weren't you in the military? You didn't feel a part of something when you joined the military? That doesn't make sense to me.
So you know, again, more red flags. The way that he couldn't describe it. You know, his service dates. The way he was trying to do the math in his head, like addition and subtraction about when he graduated. You know, not knowing his rank. It was just. But again, the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
The red report shows you there's no service record on this man. So you know, so even these messages that they're producing, you know, trying to send today in these veiled threats. I mean, it's all a moot point at this right now, because there's no service record on them. So you can go ahead about the criminal history. Okay.
Clip 1, child abuse. Here we go.
And you're saying that your time was 2006 to 2018, correct?
Yes, sir.
So in 2006, you said something that really caught my attention last night.
Go ahead.
In 2006.
Are you talking about the things I shared with you about my arrest?
Correct.
Okay.
So you were arrested, but you were in the Army.
Correct. If you look up, you know, all of that was even in the, it was also made public. They even, the news even talked about my service, I guess, because they tried to link the Army in it, and the whole case was bogus from the start. So I think I explained those charges were null processed, which is why I was able to obtain the licenses and the things that I have now. But yes. And also, if you just type in Carl Soto, West Palm Beach, it's going to, you know, they even tried to degrade me. You know, I was charged with aggravated child abuse, accused of trying to kill my ex-girlfriend's son. I was just entering, it was actually not long after I finished basic training when I was initially charged. They even tried to bring up my status in the Army, which, you know, I guess for headlines, the local news stations out there. I can even produce that too, if you want it.
So you sat in jail for 6 months and the Army still retained you?
Yeah, I was in jail from January of 2007 to June of 2007. And yes, the Army did not dishonorably discharge me, only because of the circumstances of the case, and also I guess favors of family members that are also in the service, that served in the Army, that provided assistance throughout the case, and also when I was able to bond out. And if you again just type in my name in Palm Beach County, when the case was null processed in late 2007, there was a whole article about it, and also again my service in the military. So all of this is also public record. And if you want the news station, it's CBS News 12, Palm Beach County, Florida, if you do want specific information on that.
All right. And
the Army was even questioned about my status. So my status, you know, with them too. Again, a lot of this stuff is public record.
Ooh. All right, brother Nick. The next clip is when you go through him, you know, when you go through the charges and all that. But you know, if you want to talk about anything before the next clip.
Well, yeah, I just, like I said, if you listen, he's still falling back on his Army service. So he's still talking about it, but we've already shown and proved this man has no service record. So he's still talking about it. And so as you all see, I don't know if you had the news articles up, the clips, he's saying that one of his, he's saying all of the charges, it was 4 of them, were no process, right? Meaning they did away with it. And then he goes on to say, oh, well, maybe it was done by favors by family members, which is important to think about what he said there, because we'll talk about it, as we move forward. So after you play this next clip, we can talk about what actually happened, what the newspaper said, because he's saying check the news records. It'll tell you everything you need to know. So
Right.
After you play this next clip, we'll dive into the actual record itself and the news clips.
Gotcha. Here we go.
Do you understand what's going on here? Like, do you really understand? Because here's what it is. We can't have people, right? That logo that you see on some of these screens is bigger than any of us. It's bigger than any.
True.
And it has to be protected at all costs.
Okay.
So, just, brother, some of this stuff is just not, it just doesn't sound right. And then I got this guy Jarvis talking about he's pissed off. I don't know this guy. I don't think about this guy. And for him to send me a message like that.
Well, again, I didn't know it was going to be like that. I know that he is, I asked him about going to Colorado just in case it's my plan B, because I know that he is able to do that, and he has people that will easily support him and go up there with him that is able to offer services of what you're looking for. Like we talked about, when I realized that there could potentially be an issue with plan A, I was going to resort to plan B once I knew that plan A was no longer an option. Him and I have spoken. I know that he was not, he was a little frustrated when I did explain to him that, I guess because, I'm a part of the.
Yeah, Soto, I'm good. Hey, check this out. You have 4 charges, right?
Say it again.
You have 4 charges, right? There was a total of 4 charges, right?
4 charges against me, yes.
Okay. 3 of them were dismissed. You pleaded guilty to 1, right?
No, all 4 were null processed.
No. 3 were dismissed. You pleaded guilty to 1, and then the conditions of that one that you pleaded guilty to, if you completed the terms of those conditions, it got downgraded to a misdemeanor and you were able to get a seal, right?
No, that's not how the law works either. Now they do offer this thing called.
So I'm asking you straight up right now. You didn't plead guilty to one of those 4 charges.
No, sir. I did not. Not.
I'm gonna pause this clip, y'all. I got it up. This is from the newspaper. Okay, Sun Sentinel says, man, 21, pleads guilty to 1 count of child abuse. This is the records that Brother Nick was talking about when he says, go look at it, right? If you see what I have circled, the Department of Children and Families, Soto, whose state records show has been arrested in the past on aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery charges, remains in county jail with the bail set at $3,000. Okay. Wow. Look at the headline though. They said it, man, 21 pleads guilty to 1 count of child abuse. So as we speak, he is lying. And this is after this dude says, go look at the news report, like Brother Nick said.
Exactly.
To those, no. Now I did plead no contest to a different charge that has nothing to do with that.
Okay, because like you said, look at it in the paper, and we looked at it in the paper, and it said you have 4 charges. You had a plea deal where they got rid of 3 of them, and you pleaded guilty to 1, and you completed the terms of service, and it would be downgraded to a misdemeanor.
No, I pled no contest to a totally different charge, and that charge there was that That charge was
the
battery on a law enforcement officer. I pled no contest, and that charge was what's called adjudication withhold, where there was no conviction on my record. It's as if the charge never existed, which is why I'm not a convicted felon today. So, and I was able to get those records sealed. And just the only thing that isn't sealed is what newspaper articles put out, of course, because what news put out has nothing to do with the court system.
But he said
also, I'm gonna pause this one last time. Listen to what he's saying, y'all. Who walks away from putting your hands on a police officer, which is a felony? Who walks away from that and then get the file sealed?
Not a black man for sure.
All right, let's go.
Commander Vaughn.
Yes, sir.
Commander Vaughn, before I want you to show something real quick because I'm glad you just said that. Can you show that video of him speaking?
Yes, sir. You want me to play it right now?
Play it right now. Since
okay.
He wants to talk about he had battery on a law enforcement officer, play that video right now.
Yes, sir. Here we go. See, I got you, brother Nick. I'm on it. I got you. Here we go.
Now to a shooting spree across Tampa. Chaos as police say a man drove around firing at random. Came to an end not long after the gunman encountered a Tampa police officer. Fox 13's Justin Matthews spoke with a man tonight who saw the hail of gunfire.
I was more in shock that I was seeing that because I would never have expected to see that kind of activity.
Pastor Carl Soto says he was driving with his wife on Hillsborough Avenue near 43rd Thursday evening when he noticed a Tampa police squad car backing up into traffic with the back window busted open. Then when they got closer,
I looked over and I saw what appeared to be a gentleman brandishing a very large firearm, shooting at the direction of this officer. It was clearly evident to me that this officer was being fired upon and the person was trying to execute this officer.
After hearing multiple gunshots, Soto says he was worried the officer was going to die.
For whatever reason in the world, God allowed me to be on this street where I witnessed what appeared to be an officer in distress.
Now to a shooting.
Peep what he said, y'all.
Wow. Go from
God for some reason.
Wow.
God.
I mean, my thing, Commander Vaughn, is he keeps saying check the news reports. So that's what we did. And first you said you got battery on a law enforcement officer, and then you said it was sealed. But here you are talking about God put you in a position to try to save the police from being killed. This is basically what he's saying.
And how he described it was like a police officer.
Well, that's not for me to decide. The only thing we can do is present the facts. People have to make their own decision. Like I said, all I'm doing is going to state facts and go on with what we've been doing. So, this him talking about this court case or these court cases, he's saying all four of them went away. But clearly in that news article, it's saying that 3 went away and 1, if he met the conditions of that last one, it wouldn't be a felony. It would be a misdemeanor. But so real quick, do you have the screen that shows that he had to have like a supervision by the state? Because that's the one.
Let me see. Let me see if I have it. I should have it. Let me see. Hold on one second. Let me see. You calling me? Let's see.
This guy's freaking amazing.
1 second. I have it queued up. 1 second.
It'll show. It should show. It has the number 8 and it says Carl Michael Soto.
Yep, I'm finna put it up right now. 1 second. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, this is crazy.
Good one.
It says Carl
Ammo
Michael
shot.
Soto.
Good one.
Yeah. See,
This cat couldn't tell the truth to save his damn life.
no, he couldn't. 1 second, brother Nick. I'm sorry. Get it up. 1 second.
See, the problem with lying is you got to tell another one, and then another one, and another one.
It says, yeah, it says, does it say abused child at the top?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Let me see. Send it right now. Okay. About to cue it up right now.
All right.
D Cotton, that's what those rats do.
Open. And here we go. All right, it's up.
You see, number 8, Carl Michael Soto, abused child. Carl Michael Soto, Florida. Let's look at the date of birth, March 1987. Does it not match what was on the red report?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay. And what does it say? Charge details. Offense description, abused child, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And where did that source? Florida. Supervised population.
Yes,
Florida Department of Correction. Supervised.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the news article, this mirrors that. He had the other 3 aggravated child abuse charges dropped. He pled to a lesser charge, and so as long as he completed his supervision and the terms of that supervision, then it wouldn't be an escalated charge. But so clearly, he did whatever he could to get it down. But yet he's telling us battery on a law enforcement officer. But when you look at his records, a lot of them are saying abuse, other types of abuse, which, I mean, we could really go into that. But it ain't, and a lot of them say domestic on it. Not one time did anything say battery on a law enforcement officer. And like you said, that's a felony. That's a felony.
That's right.
Yeah. His punk ass ain't going to put his hands on nothing but a baby.
But yet you turn around and you're saying, you're happy that this police officer lived, but yet you have battery on a police officer, which I'm going to get into that as well, as we continue to go on. But the proof is right there. Again, people have to make their own decisions. Only thing we can do is give them the facts, the reason why the red flags went up. And then we'll talk about it at the end, and then I'm going to be done with it. But go ahead, Commander Vaughn, play the next video.
Okay, this is the last clip of when you give him his termination papers. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, here's a conflict. You said everything was in the news, right? And so I looked at the news, and I'm telling you what the news said, and now you're saying that's not.
Can you send me yours, and I can send you mine, and I can even send you the court documents on it?
Yeah. Okay.
Because I have that right now. I could just send from my email.
Mm-hmm.
I had to submit it to the bar. Are you questioning that too?
Brother, I'm questioning everything right now. Because stuff is because it's muddy. I mean, look, brother, we really don't have to do this because already, like I said, I don't do drama. I don't get worked up. But when I got somebody from your organization calling me, texting me, like there's some sort of beef going on, I don't do that. I don't do that.
Well, like I said, I did not know that it was to that extent. I didn't even know that even took place today. Now, if you would like validation of my background, I can easily, like I said, just email you a series of different things that can support who I am, from the ministerial licenses that I have, from installation to military service, even my law enforcement certification. At one point I was considering joining law enforcement, but just realized that wasn't for me, because of the death of my brother. Are you questioning that too? I mean, like I said, all it takes is just documents send over. I mean, like I told you yesterday, it's evident that the respect that you have for Patrick and others is, you don't have me. And like I told you, I'm not sure why this situation with Jarvis would cause you to question all of this. But again, anything you're unsure about my past can easily be cleared up, like I said, with just something called evidence of documentation. And that can be provided at the snap of a finger.
Brother, I'm gonna stop you there because you said you don't know why the situation with Jarvis. Again, I just told you, I don't do drama. I don't think about Jarvis. I don't worry about what Jarvis got going on. But when you call me or you text me with bullshit, that came from
why
you.
is it?
That came from, because I don't do it. This organization has been drama free. We don't do drama.
The only thing him and I ever discussed is when I asked him, when I told him that I explained to him that because I'm a part of Geronimo Pratt, it's even certain things that I'm doing differently now. He wanted to, and I explained to him those things. He did ask me some questions, and I did give him some answers. Now, I know that I know that he feels just like a few others feel like I'm being silenced in the organization. I know that was brought up multiple times.
That's fine. You just said it right there. You just said it right there. So check this out. This is what we're gonna do. Since you feel you're being silenced, because I even asked
I didn't
you,
say, I said he feels that way.
I asked you as a man, why
Take
would you
that bass out the voice.
Say it again.
Take that bass out your voice.
Hello.
This is what's gonna happen. We're gonna send you your letter of separation, and now I'm about to get on the call with Jarvis. So since you're being silenced and I'm dealing with drama because of whatever you're saying behind the scenes,
okay,
we're gonna send you your letter of separation, and I'm okay. Telling you,
if that's
since I know where the drama
can't stop it,
I'm gonna leave it at that. So, hey, Kat, will send you your letter of separation. I appreciate you. Have a good evening.
Okay. Now, all righty. Well, in the future, then anything that BLMR Pope does, we just ask that there be no interference, so there won't be no confrontations. I figured it was going to be a matter of time before it came to this. BLMR Pope has a lot of men as well.
Remove him from the chat.
So no confrontations. Look at that man trying to issue a warning. Go ahead, brother Nick. You on?
So it's a lot. It's a lot to dissect in that last clip. First off, let's go back. If you notice, he said he had police certifications. Did you hear him when he said that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So he had police certifications. He's on TV talking about, it was God that put him there when this police officer was going to lose his life.
Right.
He told me the day before on the 28th, that his sister was an FBI agent.
Mm-hmm. You
see what I'm saying? So again, people have to make their own mind up about what they think about a person. He's saying that some people are saying he's being silenced. Who are these some people? And why am I having to deal with his guy Jarvis? Like, we shouldn't even have no conversation unless we try to mobilize and do something together.
That's right.
So there's no conversation. I'm not thinking about that guy, man. I got my own life going on. We got this organization. We try to do right by the people. So I'm not thinking about other people like that. Other people, I'm not even mentioning them. I'm just trying to get the work done. And today, I guess, whenever all that messiness was going on, his wife was saying, they're mad because my husband left. We got receipts for that too, saying that we left. Well, as the world can clearly see, he didn't leave. We terminated him. And as you can see, does he sound like, again, up until the very last second, did he sound like someone who didn't want to be a part of this organization? I would say no. He was still, making it seem like he wanted to be a part of it.
That's right.
But if you notice, the very last thing he said before he got off was, I figured it would come to this.
Yep.
Now, why would you say something like that if you weren't planting seeds of division all along? He's like, Johnny Appleseed, just walking around throwing out seeds of deception, throwing out seeds of division, because you're going back, like, listen to him, you're going back saying stuff to Jarvis. Why is that important? We go all the way back to the very first time that I encountered Soto. He was sowing seeds of division and deception then. The very first time that I met him, I didn't even have no conversation really with that guy.
Yeah.
He just was trying to, wherever we went, he wanted to show up. Wherever we went, he wanted to show up when I first met him. Where y'all at? Oh, we're going to pull security at Sister Katrina's house. Where y'all at? Oh, we going to eat. Everywhere we went, he wanted to show up.
Yep.
I can't. And let me ask you a question. Did you, in that 30 minutes, I know it was broken down, but I know overall it was about 25, 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you ever see a DD-214?
No, sir. No, sir.
Still
No, sir.
haven't.
And let me add on to this for those who don't know. There was a second call. We tried to get with Jarvis and him and a couple other guys to come on to ours. They didn't come on. But then later, an hour later, they told us to go on to their Zoom call. We were on that Zoom call. As soon as we got onto that Zoom call, you hear Soto say, "Oh, what do I have to do? Put my uniform on? I mean, something." You know, you still haven't produced. So you were on 2 Zoom calls with us. You never produced the DD-214. You never produced it. But now we know why. We ran the red report. You can say we lying all the time. You can say whatever you want. You can try to discredit us. The red report was right there. It had your social security number. It had your date of birth. It had the first 3 letters of your last name. And you saw what the results were. So now, every single thing that you've said or done is questionable at this point.
That's right.
Everything that you're trying to do to sow division, that's what agents do. Now, I'm not saying, let me say this. On the low end of the spectrum, he's an attention-seeking whore. That's the low end.
True that.
On the high end of the spectrum, he's a paid informant for the FBI. I don't know which one it is. That's the spectrum for him. I don't know what it is, but I'm just telling you, that's where I am with him.
Yeah.
That's where I am with him. It's too many red flags. The stuff that doesn't match up. He lied about his military service. You can go and you can fabricate a DD-214. You can do whatever you want to do. But I ran a red report. I know it's in the system, and I know that your information ain't there. Y'all seen it on the screen. There is no service record on Carl Soto.
That's right.
March 17th, 1987. Last 4, the year the slave shit started showing up.
So I wouldn't doubt that that's a made up social.
Yeah.
Or no. I take that back. That's what you use to to let him know that you know without actually saying what it is. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
That's exactly what it is.
I got you.
Let them know what it is, and I know what it is.
Got you.
And I will say one thing that is true, because based on his social, because I know what it is.
Yeah.
Based on his social, he was born in New York, so that he was telling the truth about. How long he lived there, I don't know, but I know based on his social, he was born in New York, so he was telling the truth about that.
Okay. Wow.
I believe the FBI fabricated, gave him all new documents and numbers. That's what I think. I think he was paid, he was planted, and
people. This is it today. Whatever y'all want to put up, whatever y'all want to show other receipts, there's drama.
Yes,
him
sir.
saying that he's been in touch with other, saying that I've spoken to other people and keep my, quit telling people about him. You're a lie, because I said nothing about this situation. Today is the first day that I spoke out publicly about it. Today is the first day. So I already know you're lying.
Yeah.
Just like that situation, the first time we was in Gulfport, and I asked that brother, well, who was the person who said it? Bring him to the table. Okay, well, say who it is. Bring him to the table, because there was nobody. Because I didn't have this conversation with nobody. There were only 3 people who called me. And on another note, when we got off that second Zoom call with Jarvis, when we got off, Jarvis said specifically, he said, we don't have to like each other, but I don't have no problems with y'all. And I told Jarvis I don't have no problems with him either. He said, well, let's just always make sure, he said, for the sake of these families, let's make sure we remain professional when we're around each other. That was a gentleman's agreement that we had. Yeah. So I wasn't going to say nothing. Yeah. But as soon as we got off that call, Soto went to tell everybody he could.
Yep. And try to anticipate as if you know what your moves are.
He tried to predict, and it didn't work. So, so that's where I'm at. So again, they can run, they can tell. The proof is right here. Again, the red report was written. Anybody who was a recruiter or is a recruiter, they will tell you exactly what a red report is. And you've seen it with your own eyes. And it was ran. That's and there's no service record on Carl Soto, born March 17, 1987, with that last 4 of his social security number of when slave ships started showing up in Americas. And the first 3 represents New York social security number. So I know what it is.
Soto, don't have another stroke.
No military record, but he got a prison record.
Hey, is Commander Patrick still on here? You know I can't see.
Commander Patrick, you still here, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Oh, he's been patiently waiting.
Oh,
I know you. Brother, you want to say something?
Come on, Patrick.
Oh man. Wow. Yeah, I have something to say. First off, for the people that's listening in tonight, I have seen some people refer to some of the conversation that have been taking place over the past few days concerning Soto and Elmer Geronimo Pratt and our national commander, Nick Bezel. I'm on, Nick.
Yeah, you can't hear him?
No, I can't hear him.
You want to try and come back in?
No, you good.
Okay.
Well, let me try. Yeah, I'll try to come back in. I'm gonna jump on now.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been seeing some of the people kind of trying to dismiss this type of transaction that's been taking place between Elmer Geronimo Pratt, Nick Bezel, and Carl Soto. But I need people to understand something coming from a 20-year civic development organization leadership position. The one thing that you most definitely want amongst your membership intricately involved in the nucleus of your organizations is moral character.
Preach.
Okay? Is moral character. Two very simple words, moral character. So I feel kind of responsible for Carl Soto. I must say that because I was an advocate for Carl Soto because I seen quality in Carl Soto to the degree of what he was presenting to us as far as his skill set and becoming involved in Elmer Geronimo Pratt from the attorney aspect. And he seemed to exuberate passion. And I love passion. So I wanted to make sure that Carl had a fair chance at an organization that he showed so much admiration to. And I know Carl listening right now. And I'm not going to tell a goddamn lie. Not one word of what I'm saying will be false because I feel betrayed by Carl Soto. Me and Carl Soto rode for 30 hours together to Colorado.
Yeah.
So I have had more time with Carl Soto than anybody on this call. With my name on the line for Carl Soto. Okay. So this right here is it's a little bit more difficult for me than everybody else. Because when I met Nick Bezel the summer of 2022 in Natchez, Mississippi, I met one of the most upstanding moral character possessing men I ever met in my life. And I take that wherever I go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I run an organization we run an organization here in Mississippi ourselves. But when I met Nick Bezel in the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Gun Club, it was a no-brainer for me that I would affiliate myself as intricately as possible with this organization.
Yeah.
So where we stand now in dealing with Carl is not something little. I don't want people to think that, we spending a lot of time on something that's irrelevant. We spending a lot of time on something that's very relevant. Because when you find organizational structures like the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Gun Club, who I have witnessed go all the way in for our people without pay, you have to protect the brand. And Nick Bezel, all the brothers that I have met, that we associate and affiliate ourselves with, and the sisters, without a doubt, and the sisters, all have moral character and integrity. We push quality before quantity, and what we're performing tonight is what I call Black organizational ethnic cleansing. We got to get the rats out.
That's right.
We got to get them out if we're gonna move forward as organization, you know, and push forward for the liberation of our people. So moral character is of the utmost importance. Quality over quantity. The Elmer Geronimo Pratt Gun Club is composed of a consortium of black alpha males without ego.
None.
We all alphas, minus the egos.
That's right. That's right. That's right, bro.
On the front line for black liberation, man. And so what we doing tonight is expressing to everybody what we will not tolerate. I'm extra proud to be a part of Elmer Geronimo Pratt because we won't get where we're trying to go without moral character.
Right.
So, you know, lying, the deceit that I witnessed from Carl Soto is not going to be tolerated, period.
That's right.
You know, everything that Brother Nick said, no lies detected.
That's
I want
right.
everybody to understand that. No lies detected. I mean, what we have done here as an organization has pretty much impressed me. I sat here for 1 hour and 30 minutes, nothing but impressed with the skill set and the quality of people that we have in this organization, starting with you, Vaughn, and then your father sitting right there. You know, to be able to corroborate the receipts, present the facts. Absolutely.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. And
same to you, brother.
And to go to bat for our national commander and make sure that his name is not scandalized.
That's
you know,
right.
And I'm dealing with other leaders across the country. You know, because I still had some dealings with Soto. You know, even after this, I called Soto Sunday and I talked to Soto. And I told him I have been the one advocator amongst the commanders in Elmer Geronimo Pratt. And I feel that it was incumbent on me to call you. And this was Sunday, after all this shit was going down. This was Sunday.
Right.
Called him. I don't give a fuck about calling names. I call names. You know, you bolstering the name of Malik Zulu Shabazz. Well, if Malik Zulu Shabazz had any problem with Nick Bezel, Malik Zulu Shabazz need to call Nick Bezel.
That's right.
Okay, that's what needs to happen, from what I understand. You know, and I'm holding down Mississippi. I'm holding down Mississippi. Mississippi would not be infiltrated with this type of activity. None of this would happen in Mississippi on our watch. You know, so he's bolstering the New Black Panther Party and his affiliation with Nick. I mean, not Nick, Malik. Well, I got an issue with that because me, Nick, yourselves have been on missions with Malik Zulu Shabazz, and if this guy Soto can come in and cause some type of dissension between national leaders like that, then I question the national leadership. Soto has no track record. Soto has no track record.
That's right.
Soto didn't even know who Nat Turner was. That was the first flag for me.
Yep.
That was the
remember
first
that?
red flag for me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But with all due respect, you know, to everybody that's on the call, you know, understand and know that Elmer Geronimo Pratt is one of the most upstanding organizations that I have ever witnessed. And I continue to stand 100% 10 toes down with Elmer Geronimo Pratt. Ain't nothing been proven tonight but what I already knew. And I hope that everybody on this call feels the same way. We spent this time to make sure that we understand that what we have to do is make sure we surround ourselves with quality people. So that's what we're doing. That's what I'm gonna continue to do under this brand. Like Nick said, this brand that we wear, that we adorn ourselves with, is bigger than all of us. It's bigger than all of us.
That's right.
You know, so I'm gonna leave it at that. You know, I'm gonna leave it at that. I think the mission was accomplished tonight.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to thank everybody that was on the call. I want to thank you again, Vaughn, for putting your 2 cents in there and making sure that, you know, we got this, we got all these facts, you know, and we got all these receipts put in place, man. And And we always fighting for our people, man. And what we done tonight, I think is sublime, and I think it's most definitely was a needed thing for us to do to clear our name as we move forward with our endeavors. So thank everybody.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Salute
and
to you, bro. Salute to you, bro.
Yeah, salute to you, brother. Salute to the Black Liberation Movement. Okay. For all the people that's in here, brother, what do you have going? I know you have something coming up in September.
Without a doubt, in September we'll be having our 7th annual Black Liberation Movement Building Power Summit. We employ that every member of Elmer Geronimo Pratt set their calendars. If we have anything conflicting that's going on with Elmer Geronimo Pratt, the 3rd weekend in September, let's try and work it out, because Mississippi is ground zero. I'm just gonna put it like that. And what we've been doing and trying to organize in Mississippi under the banner of the Black Liberation Movement is what I think is monumental. It's the continued work of our ancestors, and what we're trying to do here and fighting this beast that we have here in Mississippi. I'm talking about absolute beast that we have here in Mississippi. It must be accomplished. So I'm so glad that Universal Order would have it that my path and Nick Bezel's path would cross, because we wouldn't be here where we at now. So we got eyes focused here in Mississippi. We got intent, determination to make sure that we break the back of this cracker, that's here causing us all these problems. And they don't make no apologies about what it is that they're doing here. And we ain't gonna make no apology for breaking their goddamn back. So we want to continue to organize, and we want to make sure that we bring all our forces together across the nation and make Mississippi an example, a model example of Black liberation. So I know people hear a lot of things about Mississippi, and most of them are true, but it's some very beautiful things that you don't know about Mississippi. It's some beautiful Black people here, and there's a lot of us. It's a lot of us here, and we have spaces here that we can absolutely control here. You know what I'm saying? So we can go to bat on all levels here. And September, usually it would be the 3rd weekend in September. We host the Black Liberation Movement Building Power Summit, and we employ that all of you come together. We have great elders, great teachers that have adorned us with their presence. Mwalamu Baruti out of Atlanta, Georgia. Professor James Small out of New York. Akinyele Umoja, the author of We Will Shoot Back. All of them have adorned us with their presence, and we're looking forward to all of them coming back this year. And we're looking forward to all of Elmer Geronimo Pratt participating this year coming up. So we're gonna be looking forward to everything taking place. September, the 3rd weekend in September is when it's taking place, and we'll be getting more information. So thank y'all for letting me shout that out.
All right. Hey,
appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
Right. That's right. Brother Nick, do you want to close it out for us? Fine. Yeah, let me put you on speaker real quick so you're louder. Hold on.
All right.
And also I want to say this one thing too. Out of respect for my commander, the founder of this organization, anything moving forward, guys, anything you come to me with, if anybody that you run across that has questions, this video will answer any question that you have that you have.
That's right.
I have no reason to keep pushing this as well. I hope that other organizations pay attention to this, watch this, and share this amongst other organizations, because that will show if you really do truly care about your people. So they don't have to deal with situations like this. So they don't have to deal with another William O'Neill. Okay. So please, push this. If anybody got questions, I guarantee you this video he'll have every answer that they have. And if they don't look at it as an answer, if it's not good enough for them, they don't want to believe it, and just move on with your life. Don't even worry about it.
That's right.
All right. That's all I got to say. You have anything to say that before we close out?
So the video has the receipts, and it just proves it all. And that's what our real responsibility here was to be transparent, put the information out there, let you see he doesn't have a military record. He has a police record. Let you see that he says his brother died by the hands of the cop, but yet he was willing to save the cops. He was willing to go into the police organization. This guy's a flat out liar. He's trying to debase the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Gun Club and Nick. And let me tell you, I'd stand with Nick against anybody. Anybody. He's a true soldier. His heart is in the right place, and I salute him. And Brother Patrick, let me tell you, you stand up, man, and I promise you, we'll be there. We'll be there. It'll take something enormous to keep us from being there, but PDM will represent. We'll be there, stand beside you. And Nick, we love you, and trust and believe we're going to protect your honor at all costs. And that's what I got to say. And Soto, no go. Take your bitch ass on somewhere else.
All right, Dad. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. You're on my podcast. All right, brother Nick, you go ahead and close it out.
Yeah, I just, man, I appreciate y'all taking the time. Like I said, I've never, I don't do drama. I don't like drama. I think we got too many other obstacles in front of us, to deal with it. But again, as people can see, if they go back and watch this video, you will clearly see Soto never portrayed that he had an issue. You will see, he was just trying to, I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to do. Like I said, there is a spectrum that I feel that he falls somewhere in that spectrum. What I believe he is, I'm not going to speculate, but just believe that he's somewhere within that spectrum. Either he's just an attention-seeking whore that's looking to shine and capitalize and jockey himself in a position to be seen, or based on his criminal record, maybe he was compromised by the government. I don't know, but it's somewhere. It's somewhere in there. I just want to say again to everyone, this isn't. Drama is just not something that we do, but this had to be done based on the circumstances. And so I just want everybody to know, and again, today is the first day that I spoke out on it, probably be the last day that I speak out on it. But the facts had to be presented. People had to know. People had to see. And so if you can't see based on the facts that were presented, like Amanda Derrick said, you don't want to see it. And what, I believe in, by the code, no contact, no conflict with no contact. So, if it takes, for us to just not associate with certain people, or, people that we feel are compromised or jeopardized, then we just won't associate with them. Mm-hmm. And, I don't believe that we can work with other people who are working with him based on the facts, based on the evidence. So, I'm not telling people what to do. People make their own decisions. But going forward, we will not be working with anybody who's working with Carl Soto going forward. So I hope this clarified everything. I'm not speaking on it again. Refer to the video if you have questions, like the commander said. Again, I thank every last one of you, all the commanders, all the members, the entire Elmer Geronimo Pratt Pistol and Rifle Gun Club, for everything that they've done. And I'm just not, one thing that I'm going to say before we get off of here, I don't believe in causing harm or threatening Black people. I just don't. There's been a lot of threats since this stuff happened from different people, different messages. I'm not going to entertain that because I don't believe in we should be harming our people physically. But this had to be put out. But just so you know, again, I don't want to revisit this. I don't want to have to go back to it. But there are, Commander Vaughn, if you decide to do a follow-up, if you choose to post receipts of what the with all these threats that were made or whatever about, that's on you.
Okay.
But I'm not going to entertain it. You know what I mean? I'm just not. So that's all I got. I appreciate all the support again from all the commanders, from all the members. I love every last one of y'all. I always tell y'all we family. Everybody who started getting wind and contacted me, being straight up with me, I appreciate y'all. And then for everybody who still, ride with us, didn't fall for the okie doke, for the trap. Salute to every last one of y'all as well, and we gonna continue to rock with y'all just like y'all continue to rock with us.
That's right. That's right.
100.
All right, I couldn't have said it any better, y'all. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and like I said, share this video. Okay, share this video. This is very important. Put it on your social. Tag it. Put it on your social, because people need to see this. Because I'm telling you, he's being cornered as we speak right now. So where do you think he's going to try and go? He's going to try to find any organization that will accept him. And once he's accepted in that organization, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to talk about every organization badly and try to cause more division. The best way to counteract that is to put the truth out there. Spread it. Okay? Spread it. All right.
From his own mouth. From his own mouth. Go check the TV. Go check the news. We did that. Go look at my Facebook. We did that. Look at my DD214, which we couldn't do because he never could produce that. So
So
that's what rats do.
So with that, we out. These are our 2 cents. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
Peace.